Hi there everybody, so my name is Mike Seward, this is David Taylor, and we're here on our Day 3 wrap-up at the Consumer Electronics Show. We're seeing, again, a reinforcement of a lot of technologies today I thought we'd talk about, starting with display technologies, David. Some really interesting angles there.
Yeah, one of the ones that really stood out for me, and I think you, based on the smile of your face when you tried it, was the professional grade VR.
Yeah.
Very clear screen.
Yeah.
Technology.
8K.
Which also included hand tracking and also eye tracking. So from a training point of view, you've got a great way of understanding what an individual is looking at in that particular VR environment. What that means is that you can provide additional information and feedback to a user and understand exactly what they're looking at and understand how to improve any particular interaction that they've got with that VR environment.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised actually. Seeing the 8K screens from Samsung and LG on day one was one thing, but seeing 8K up close in a VR headset was phenomenal. The level of detail, plus the field of view, which was like a full 360, atmosphere. It was, by far the best technology that I've seen in that space.
And due to that high resolution, what you've got is the ability to have very fine detail. So if you're looking at some sort of console with a lot of buttons on it, or even a very fine writing, you can see it very close up.
Which means the applicability for cockpit scenarios or anything else for frontline commands is absolutely spot on, isn't it? Yeah, it's really illustrating that the technology is now at that inflection point where it's reached the maturity where it can be applied into enterprise.
Yeah, and it certainly can be used today. The technology's there now.
Now, the other thing I wanted to sort of talk to everybody about was the holographic display. I mean, that was amazing. Again, 8K display, 32-inch. But tell us why this was more than just a normal display.
Normal display. So this is an 8K holographic display. Whilst the field of view isn't particularly massive, you have to stand relatively central to the screen. What it does give you is a very realistic depth to that screen itself. You've got a way of presenting content that really just sort of jumps out at the screen. Originally we were shown just a still, and then we realised that there's ways of producing content through volumetric capture, which gives you just a huge amount of depth from the demonstration that we saw. And also there was a way of interacting with that screen as well, as if you could sort of reach into the screen. Whilst not physically, there was a feeling that it was possible. Really superb piece of software. No announcements on prices yet. But they did say there isn't a particular limitation on that 32-inch if you want to provide a tiled wall in some way.
Modularly put them together, absolutely. And I think, taking that into that defence arena, I think when you're looking at situational awareness, when you're looking at perhaps a team of people looking at a terrain, being able to actually three-dimensionally see and also inquire around that terrain was quite
and
amazing.
Probably the most important piece about that is there's no additional hardware. You just stand in front of that screen. You've got no headset to wear, anything like that.
No, absolutely. Okay, so let's move on a little bit from the display technology, probably go into an area of artificial intelligence. I mean, we quite often talk about artificial intelligence in relation to machine learning and decision trees, etc., but actually the area of natural language processing seems to have moved on quite some bit. And I was taken by essentially the modern day interpretation of the Babel fish example. Take us through what you thought about that.
Yeah, so we saw examples of really rapid translation, so near real-time translation of languages. One particular company was claiming up to 47 languages, which included Chinese, Japanese, all the European countries were covered, and provides you with just an in-ear earpiece that would interpret language in real time and provide you with whatever language you required, to English or whatever was necessary. Absolutely perfect in a whole variety of different scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we also had on top of that then the ability to actually enhance hearing in noisy environments as well, which again for our end customer could be quite an important factor, built into like a headset, for example, or a helmet. Or something.
So there was again the example that we saw was in-ear earbuds. once you went through some calibration process, you were able to choose a different what style of hearing that you wanted, whether or not you were in a noisy environment, and to single out a particular voice conversation, or different styles of audio interaction to interpret the sound that was out there in the environment.
I thought that would be really applicable. I think the final one to leave us on this particular topic of around the hearing side, again with AI, was the interesting British company that we found, which we're going to have a follow-up with, around targeted voice recording.
Yeah.
I mean, this blew me away in terms of how brilliant the AI algorithm was at actually singling out a particular individual's voice and then suppressing all of that other noise.
Yeah, and we only saw 2 very brief demos. Obviously, they're not going to give away how it was done, but to be able to single out one voice and absolutely deaden and kill any of the other audio in the environment, and we were in a very noisy conference hall, and to provide a complete tight clarity to that voice, and nothing else, was incredibly impressive.
It was. So I think we're definitely going to follow up with that organisation, because I think they are in their infancy as an SME, but someone who could really work with to apply that technology into our customers. So great. I thought, moving on, I mean, one of the other trends that we haven't talked about so far in our sort of daily roundups was the whole trend of well-being. Obviously, that's something that we're focusing a lot on in QinetiQ ourselves, but you know, there's a whole array of technology that's out there now around enterprise level well-being.
There was, and that varied and filled a huge hall full of various different devices that we never really sort of thought you'd need at all, but there was a couple that stood out. There was a pod, which was, way I described it, was a sort of a circular bed that provides you with a suitable lighting environment to relax you. I think it was a screen as well to be able to provide some video.
And there'll be audio, no doubt.
And audio as well. And shaped in a particular way to allow you to relax your body in a particular way. Also saw a smart belt, if I remember correctly.
That's right. And that was to help if you fell over, right? Or...
Yeah, there was, and also monitored you for a whole host of different biometric factors.
Yeah, it's like they've taken the Fitbit technology and built it into actually a belt, but also with some sort of like gyro on it as well to monitor your angle.
And obviously it's something that you normally wear every day anyway, so it's not yet another device that you have to carry or remember to take with you.
No, absolutely. So what was the, you know, we had a little bit of fun yesterday with our smart potato, but you know, in terms of the most wacky technology that you saw today, what about the well-being area? Anything crazy there?
So there was 2 that sort of stood out. One was a sleep pillow, which monitored your sleeping pattern and the noise you produced.
You mean snoring, David?
Snoring. Get that right. So monitored how loudly you snored. Once it reached a certain level, the pillow itself would move and alter your head position to turn you onto your side and hopefully stop you snoring. Something that certainly my partner might be quite happy about.
So I'm sure you've placed a few orders for
that. Yes, there's 2 of them ordered. And the other one was a bed that allowed you to have zonal temperature. So you could have individual quarters of the bed. You could define particular temperatures of heat and cooling. Not the cheapest bed. I think it was something like $8,000, something like that.
It was.
But
expensive.
we both did try it out, and it was really good. It did seem to work. 12 degree. You could reduce the temperature on that particular area of the bed by 12 degrees.
I can't quite work out the applicability for the defence sector on the smart bed or the smart pillow, but nonetheless, it's some interesting technology, and I think it also just does demonstrate the real focus around well-being in all aspects of well-being, many of which will be important for. Many enterprise organisations, but also for a lot of our customers as well.
No, I agree.
Okay, good. Well, listen, everybody, this is the final chapter of our CES tour. Day 3 wrap-up is complete. We'll be looking to put out more content on the QinetiQ.com website, so please tune into that over the coming days and weeks. And thank you very much for listening to David and I over the last few days. So thank you very much.